We are live. How's everybody doing today? Evening rants. I am here by myself because Mark is teaching young people how to be leaders and winners right now. That is what he's doing. He is a coach for youth football and an amazing one. Not to mention that he coaches a bunch of other people at his facility. Legacy. It is an amazing place. If you're ever in Brentwood, Tennessee area, you should check it out. Get a hold of Mark. I'm sure he'll have you come in. You can check the place out. But today we're going to talk about a bunch of shit. But first, we're going to talk about the aftermath of the debate last night, which was just comedy. I know that it's like people were very my guy won and my guy won and everything like that. If you think Tim Walz did a good job last night, you have drank too much Kool-Aid. The dude admitted, the dude said that he has befriended school shooters. How the fuck does that even come out of your mouth? Like, I'm sure he misspoke. I am, but how the fuck does that come out of your mouth? It's this is supposedly going to be the vice president of the United States should they rig it enough. Because let's be real, that's the only fucking way they're getting in the White House. The only way that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will win is if the cheat is just massive, and I don't think they can cheat enough convincingly enough now that it wouldn't cause super problems. I think they're just going to try to take care of Trump in other ways. That's my thought process is they know they're so far behind that they got about another month or so, like almost 1 month to try to maybe, repeat the process they've done before with having the Secret Service basically give up protecting him and leave it open to people that want to take him out. Or Iran has threatened to kill him bunches of times. And oh, lo and behold, Israel's about to go to war with Iran. The Biden administration... And it's the Obama administration, part 3, with his hand up Joe Biden's ass, using him as a puppet, because that's what this administration is basically Obama, third term, hand up Biden's ass, mouthing him, that's what it is. And the DEI hire of the fucking worst DEI hire of the goddamn century, Kamala Harris. It's to even get the scope of everything that has happened in the last 4 fucking years. It is amazing. Think about everything that has happened in the last 4 years, right? Vaccine mandates, mask mandates, the weakening of the United States military by kicking out anybody that refused because they wanted to have personal choice about what happened to their body. The mass firing of police officers, the defunding of police, the incredible amount of us weakening our healthcare system, which was hilarious because the entire reason for 15 days to slow the spread, people, was to not overload the healthcare system. So, of course, it makes perfect sense that a year later, anybody refusing a experimental therapy for something that the healthcare worker had it's very unlikely that they hadn't been exposed to multiple times. So they either had T-cell immunity or they had built up antibodies to it and were at very, very, very low risk from it, if at all. If they wouldn't take the jab, even though they likely had natural immunity, we fired them too, weakening the healthcare system that we were worried about getting overloaded from having so many people sick, right? So that made a lot of sense too. Oh yeah, and then Joe Biden and the entire NATO picking a fight with Russia pretty much through Ukraine so we can launder more money. They burnt out the victims of Lahaina, sent them $700. We've sent like $200 billion to Ukraine, but $700 for the people of Lahaina. I just heard that they're giving $750 to the people that are suffering from the Helena hurricane. Yeah, that's going to go a long way. And by the way, we're about to play a video here, and I want to talk about the debate because a few of the things are not important, but should be talked about and are kind of funny even. But reality exists, people, and this is next level insanity. Think about everything that has happened. They have kept us reeling on our heels. Some new crisis week after week after week after week after week. They have kept it going for almost 4 years. People wonder why they have a hard time paying attention to shit It's because they keep flipping the script on you motherfuckers. Like those of us lucky enough to have ADHD, I can still think about, COVID and how they fucking totally shat on the Constitution, and then still basically, think about the shit that's happening today. But a lot of you fucks, just are like, what's the mainstream media saying today? Oh my goodness, I have to worry about this, and here is my new wordage that I must absolutely do. Like, I wanted to play this for you real quick, because this is a sign. Give me 1 second. Stop screen share. Because this is always interesting to me. So we're going to go back from this. We're going to mine. We're going to go to media. Right here.
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Whenever you see stuff like that, you should always remember that
False news has become all too common.
You should always remember that the mainstream media is basically controlled by like 4 different people. You don't hate the media enough. You just don't. You don't hate the media enough. It's not even a close question about you hating the media enough. So now we're going to get to the other portions of this. So here we go. This is the moment of the night from last night. This is J.D. Vance and the...
Margaret, but
thank you,
Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret,
I
think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that you guys weren't going to fact.
Yeah, they just fact-checked J.D. Vance when they said they weren't going to, which, by the way, election interference. Here's the problem, too. Another problem that we have as a country, and I don't know why people can't see this, we don't hold them accountable at all, right? Like the people that fact-checked Trump the last time, the people that gave Kamala the questions early and everything like that, they should all be in jail. Now, they're not going to go to jail because the regime that's in power was the one that was being favored. But they should be in jail. Anybody that was involved in it, including the people that got the questions early. Kamala. Or Kamala? I don't even know. I don't know how to pronounce her name. But
fact check. And since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by our own
Senator, for
leadership.
Describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been,
So that was one of the main moments of the night. He crushed it. In case you guys did this,
your church maybe to help you out with childcare. Maybe you live in a rural area or an urban area and you'd like to get together with families in your neighborhood to provide childcare in the way that makes the most sense. You don't get access to any of these federal monies.
Tim Walz is nodding his head yes to J.D. Vance.
And how we deliver family care and how we promote childcare. Because look, it is unacceptable. We go to one.
That's pretty much how the entire evening went. He owned him, like literally owned him. And then this is also good.
That they want to undo the Trump. Now, Tim admirably admits that they want to undo the Trump tax cuts. But if you look at what was so different about Donald Trump's tax cuts, even from previous Republican tax cut plans, is that a lot of those resources went to giving more take-home pay to middle class and working class Americans. It was passed in 2017, and you saw an American economic boom unlike we've seen in a generation in this country. That is a record that I'm proud to run on, and we're going to get back to that common sense wisdom so that you can afford to live the American dream again. I know a lot of you are struggling. I know a lot of you are worried about paying the bills. It's going to stop when Donald Trump brings back common sense to this country.
Governor, do you want to respond to that? What has Kamala Harris done for the middle class?
Yeah, well, Kamala Harris's day one was Donald Trump's failure on COVID that led to the collapse of our economy. We were already before COVID in a manufacturing recession, but 10 million.
Donald Trump should have never done anything about COVID. COVID was not worth being called a pandemic. Like, they had to change the definition. Does everybody understand this, right? Like, it's still Donald Trump's fault about this, and I know Trumpers get very, very mad when I say this, but under Donald Trump's watch, people were labeled as essential and non-essential. That's unfucking acceptable. That's unacceptable. Trump chose very poorly his cabinet of people and then listened to them about other shit. That's a very bad mistake that I'm thinking that he's not going to make again, because he's looking at RFK and all these other people that are looking out for the people instead of, going with swampies. But COVID was not, it didn't meet the criteria until they changed it. And by the way, that is just reality.
People out of work, largest percentage since the Great Depression. 9 million jobs closed on that. That was day one. Whether it was the
I love how he's acting like Trump did COVID, like Trump made COVID, though, too. That would be Fauci. He's your guy.
Infrastructure Act or other things we moved. Now, you made a question about experts, said this. I've made a note of this. Economists can't be trusted. Science can't be trusted. National security.
Whoops.
Can't be trusted. Science can't be trusted.
National security folks definitely can't be fucking trusted. The science, the quote unquote science, can't be trusted because science is about being challenged. Like, if they were so sure about the science, they should have said, any dissenters, let's hash this out so we can come to a consensus. They didn't do that. They instead silenced, censored, which, by the way, that also happened. Joe Biden's regime also paid Twitter and other social media entities to silence anybody that even questioned in any way what they were saying. That is unbelievable. That's treason. That is tyranny. And we should have removed them all right when we found out. The second the Twitter files came out, we should have removed them all from office. All of them. Every single one. They do not have the authority to tell us to shut the fuck up. We have the authority to tell them to shut the fuck up. They do not have the authority to tell us to shut the fuck up. We have freedom of speech. They are our employees. They listen to what we have to fucking say. Just too many people in America have forgotten this. And that is the huge issue, because many of you don't realize that we should have the power. We, the people, should have the power, not the government. The government should be terrified of us. Those motherfuckers should be absolutely terrified for their lives for lying to us. Absolutely. Look up what they used to do to traitors, because that's what should be done.
National security folks can't be trusted. Look, if you're going to be president, you don't have all the answers. Donald Trump believes he does. My pro tip of the day is this. If you need...
His pro tip of the day. Dude.
Heart surgery, listen to the people at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, not Donald Trump. And the same thing goes with this. And I ask you...
Oh, heart surgery, absolutely. Listen to doctors. If you break your arm, you need heart surgery for something, listen to your doctors. But they should not have anything to do with you preventing a cold, getting a cold, being over the cold. They are not like any chronic illness, any disease like that. Like, natural immunity should be first. Then very known drugs that we can repurpose should be second. Not what they did. Not at all. What they did was not by any procedure that had ever been done for public health in a long time. They basically stifled the entire United States and shat on the Constitution. Reality exists.
Out there. Teachers, nurses, truck drivers, whatever. How is it fair that you're paying your taxes every year and Donald Trump hasn't paid any federal tax in the last 15 years? And the last year as president. That's what's wrong with the system. There's a way around it, and he's bragged about that. We're just asking for fairness in it, and that's all you want.
You have a minute.
Governor, you say trust the experts. But those same experts for 40 years said that if we shipped our manufacturing base off to China, we'd get cheaper goods. They lied about that. They said if we shipped our industrial base off to other countries, to Mexico and elsewhere, it would make the middle class stronger. They were wrong about that. They were wrong about the idea that if we made America less self-reliant, less productive in our own nation, that it would somehow make us better off, and they were wrong about it. And for the first time in a generation, Donald Trump had the wisdom and the courage to say to that bipartisan consensus, we're not doing it anymore.
And that was an awesome, that was probably the highlight of the evening, if you ask me. So now we need to get into a few things about the Hurricane Helena issue. This is from the Vigilant Fox and our good friend Elijah Schaefer. Here we go.
Biden and Harris FCC nuked 20,000 Starlink terminals for North Carolina that could have saved lives. Listen to this. On Monday, North Carolina State Climate Office said Hurricane Helene was a monster storm that unleashed the worst-case scenario for Western North Carolina. Mayor Esther Meinheimer told CNN's The Source with Caitlin Collins on Monday that over 600 people are unaccounted for and towns have been wiped off the face of the earth. It turns out down here that if you look down past all of the insane carnage, the power outages have said that folks on X are saying that entire cellular networks have been damaged as a humanitarian crisis unfolds. But Western North Carolina has been hit hard, and it turns out that Elon Musk's space internet company could have supplied residents with Starlink terminals over the years through a rural federal program. However, the Biden administration's weaponization of the FCC blocked nearly 20,000 terminals for the state that would have been crucial right now during this time. I'm telling you that we are ruled by the most ridiculous human beings among us.
I would agree with Elijah there. And just so everybody understands, to turn down Starlink, there's not going to be anything that comes close for a long time. We homestead. We're in the country. We have Starlink. It actually works better than what we had in Cape Coral. It works way better, like way better. And during storms, everything like that. I mean, the infrastructure down there, like if the wind blew hard a couple times, our cable went out. It was ridiculous. But this is the video that caught my attention that I wanted to talk to everybody about. This is tragic. So let's just listen to this young lady. 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Here we go.
What the government is doing right now to the entire state of North Carolina and Tennessee is nothing short of just plain awful. Like, I do not physically have the words for it, because if you don't know, we have not heard from my aunt since Friday because of Hurricane Helene, and there is no government aid. None. Zero. Zilch. There's a few, but it's small government offices mainly run by civilians. Because you want to know what's happening right now in North Carolina and Tennessee? There are entire towns that there is no way in or out. Those roads are not drivable because of the mudslides and the power lines and the downed trees. There are doctors right now physically walking across that because their cars can't get through to go help these people, to go check on these people. There's a mudslide by my aunt's house because she lives on a mountain. She lives in the middle of it. There are currently civilians digging that mudslide out with their bare fucking hands. That's what's happening right now. There is no power. There is no water. They have no supplies. And the government is currently trying to arrest people who are delivering supplies via helicopter. They are threatening to arrest those people. They are threatening to arrest people who are trying to fucking help people survive.
Now, I know that they're probably trying to arrest them because they are worried about their safety, but fuck you. They don't, first of all, no matter what, they can't tell you what you can and can't do like that. You are not breaking any fucking laws. They don't get to decide what they get to they don't all of a sudden get to decide they get to arrest you for this or arrest you for that. And frankly, if the town's gone, so's your authority. So people we the people are going to need to take matters into our own hands about a lot of shit coming up. I'm telling you folks, get ready because it's going to be fucking ugly with this, with the port strike and everything like that. It's not going to be pretty. We are in shambles. This is why we cannot do another 4 years of this. The country will not survive 4 more years of this bullshit. It will not survive. It will not. Like how much does it need to be shown that the federal government fucking hates us? Something like $900 million from FEMA have gone towards illegal aliens, the housing and processing, and we give them $10,000 a fucking month in food stamps or whatever the fuck it is, and they're going to give $750 to the citizens who lost everything from this hurricane. That, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say what that should catalyze. That should catalyze something that should make the government extremely, extremely afraid. Because if there is ever a reason to rise the fuck up, it would be that the tyrannical government that is trying to rule over you literally picks illegal aliens over you. They pick illegal immigrants over citizens. Once that happens, it is no longer a government for the people, by the people, of the people. It is its own entity that is trying to rule over the people. Period. Like once it gets to the stage where they no longer care about our health, our well-being, when they are sending our money to people, like this is like hundreds of billions of dollars have gotten sent to other people around the world, not us. They're borrowing money in our names, putting us further and further and further in debt, and not taking care of us at all. And when we the people really need help, like many of these people from this hurricane they need help. The government is choosing to not. And there's also another big thing as well in these areas, if it is declared unlivable for any reason, because this is an actual fucking thing that the government did. If it is declared unlivable, the government can pay the people for their property what the value was 5 years ago, claim eminent domain, and then they get the land. That just so happens to be on cobalt and lithium deposits. Like the largest lithium deposit in the fucking world, I think, is underneath Western North Carolina. So they can declare eminent domain, and all of a sudden, they've got all the lithium and cobalt they would need for superconductors and for all the electric cars that they want to shove up your ass.
My aunt is 70 years old with mobility issues. And you want to know what the government's fucking doing? Jack shit. But you want to know what the civilians, the people here in America are doing? I have had several people on this platform alone reach out to me and go, oh, this doctor's going there. I'll tell them and they'll tell the fire department. I'll put the word into all these shelters. I'll do this. There is somebody right now in Burnsville, North Carolina. His name is Warren. And he himself, he's a real fucking hero, I'll tell you that. He got together a list. He went door to door to people's houses to make sure that they were okay. Door to door. Wrote their names on a list and posted it on Facebook so families could see if their family members were alive or not. His wife is currently making food for everybody. And you want to know what the government is doing? You want to know what Kamala Harris is doing right now? You want to know what Joe Biden's doing? Joe Biden said we're doing all that we can for North Carolina. Kamala Harris is currently having a fundraiser for her campaign in LA and Las Vegas. Not for the people in North Carolina or Tennessee. For her fucking campaign.
Absolutely disgusting. I said this last night also on Rants, but just so everybody gets it. The sky around these areas, around eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, and from what I understand, some parts of South Carolina too, like the far northwest of South Carolina, which is beautiful, beautiful country. We used to live by there. But the skies should just be filled with fucking helicopters. It should be filled with everything from hospital helicopters, military helicopters, you name it. It should be filled with helicopters to rescue people, to deliver supplies, to check on people. It should be filled. The sky should be filled to the point where we have to make sure that there's pathways and shit like that. It should be organized, and we should be having rescue missions going on. The civilians from the area shouldn't be being threatened to be arrested by trying to help people. It's completely disgusting. Completely disgusting. That's something I wanted to talk about tomorrow. I did find this is also funny. This is how you know people are waking the fuck up. This reads that MSNBC invited a anti-Trump impeachment witness on to bash Trump over his threat to democracy. Ari Melber, I don't know, asked him if he was voting for Trump. And here's what happened.
A no for you after that. Why was it important for you to say no more Trump because of his January 6th conduct? And do you stand by that?
No, I don't stand by it. And I'll tell you why. I've now lived 4 years under the Biden-Harris policies. And I have to say that those policies are not only becoming an existential threat to our country's way of life, but to our allies as well.
So when you, I'll let you finish, but this is so striking. You said it was a no for me after that, after January 6th.
I did.
And here we are right now.
I did.
And you're saying it's a yes for you.
It is a yes for me. It is an absolute yes for me. That is how badly the Biden-Harris team have prosecuted their job.
But the whole point you seem to be making was that January 6th and that kind of attack on democracy is bigger than any policy.
But I am seeing so many attacks on democracy that eclipse January 6th.
So I want to ask Sarah,
if you want to ask me what those are, I'm happy.
So
a no for you.
He's like, so I want to ask Sarah because he didn't get the response that he thought he was going to get. That's for sure. So this is, let's see, reports of two individuals, Pena Ramos and Rangel Martinez, were charged in connection with the murder and sexual assault of a 12-year-old. Both suspects entered the United States illegally. We should be booting them all out. Absolutely, none of them should be around. I'm sorry, you guys can't behave. Gotta go. Make you want to say, gotta go. And this one is interesting.
$750 included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel included.
First of all, $750 to spend where? The stores are all gone. The stores have been underwater. Now, you guys can apply. Apply? The fuck is wrong with you? We literally dropped fucking pallets of money in Afghanistan. We just dropped pallets of fucking money in Afghanistan. Billions of dollars. We spent trillions of dollars in a war that we literally did not even need to fucking be in. And they have to, you need to apply and get your $750. 700, are you kidding? There was another $8 billion to Israel just the other day. $8 billion! Unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. I think that's what this lady's going to say.
I had to come outside of my house to make this video because my family is, they're traumatized right now, okay? In case you missed it, FEMA's got no money to help anybody in our country. FEMA, they're done. FEMA spent their money on housing fucking illegals and giving fucking debit cards and fucking housing and, whatever they can do. You want a ticket? You want to go to fucking, the Florida Keys? No, we'll send you down there. Go, enjoy the Roosters. FEMA can't do shit. So there's dirty, and I'm gonna say a cocksucking piece of shit vice president. You know what she said? Oh, well, we're gonna give you $750. $750? Oh, you big fucking spender. You big fucking spender. How about this? How about you keep your fucking money? You go enjoy your fucking Julia Roberts, Oprah Winfrey fucking put on a show because you're trying to win an election bullshit, okay? You might want to take your fucking VP and get him some lessons in being an adult and get him some fucking diapers because he definitely soiled his pants last night, okay? Let us handle this. FEMA, fuck you. America, it's time to step up. We are going to step up. We are going to deliver, and we are going to go into North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, wherever we have to go because we take care of ours. And I'll tell you right now, you're in New York City, you're a fucking illegal, get your ass out of our hotels. Get your fucking ass out of our hotels. You know what? Fuck it. We don't even want the fucking Roosevelt back. We don't want any of the hotels back because these dirty, disgusting dirtbags that this fucking administration brought in, they ruined it all to shit. They ruined it to shit. We'll take Americans into our fucking homes and we'll do what we gotta do. I am disgusted. I am mortified. I am annoyed. But I will tell you this. If you follow me, I posted about it. There's going to be a collection. We're going to be collecting a lot of shit, okay? I'm going to be headed down to North Carolina. I have my SUV. If I can load up, we're going to load up. Worst case scenario, I got to rent the U-Haul. Worst case scenario, best case scenario, I got to rent a couple of Mack trucks. I have CDL drivers. We can get it down there. I got a place to go in Plymouth, North Carolina. They will get it out to Western North Carolina. We are going to show them that, you know what? The government doesn't give a fuck about you because they don't even know who the fuck they are right now, okay? Kamala's worried about getting smacked by a fucking alcoholic husband, and Joe Biden basically shit his pants and Jill walked away. But don't worry about it because you know what? The real fucking Americans are here. We're here.
Hoorah. I mean, this is what we need. Like, I've been saying it for a while. We are not going to vote our way out of this. We, the people, need to step the fuck up. We need to let them know no more. And here's the problem. They're just massively corrupt. It's the entire government. I know it's weird how I keep saying this and people don't seem to grasp it. But if you know that one government agency is corrupt, if you know it, if we know it as people, like we know the CIA is corrupt. They've practically admitted that they fucking whacked Kennedy. They've started wars. They have replaced world leaders in other countries. They're corrupt as fuck. The FBI, if you haven't been paying attention the last 5 years or so, corrupt as fuck. They literally are guilty of election interference by shutting down the Hunter Biden laptop story in 2020. They've admitted it. That's corrupt as fuck. That is corrupt as fuck. Joe Biden himself has multiple times said that he doesn't care if it's unconstitutional. He's going to do it. We have people in this administration and on this regime that are talking about destroying the First Amendment because they have to protect against misinformation and mandatory gun buybacks. They're trying to get rid of the First and Second Amendment. We know the government is wholly corrupt. If even one organization, one department of the government is corrupt, that means it's all corrupt because they allow it to happen. Nobody is stopping, nobody got in trouble from the USDA for putting out the food pyramid that probably led to millions and millions and millions of deaths. Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in extra spending. More pain and suffering than anything else. Nobody stopped them. They're still trying to fucking push ultra-processed food on people. We know that large corporations have captured entire government entities. Like, it is literally not even a question. Fuck. I mean, Robert Kennedy Jr. is literally fucking campaigning on it for Trump. That these entities have become literally so corrupt that they are captured by corporations and by foreign powers. And yet, people are like, oh, we need to vote. Yeah, we do need to vote. We need to really make it so big that they can't possibly cheat and get Trump in there to buy us 4 fucking years at least to try to right some of this shit. And if Trump gets in, we, the people, need to hold his ass accountable for doing not only everything he's promised, but push him to do way the fuck more. We need the government completely out of the business of censoring any fucking thing. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Very frankly, for entities like YouTube and Meta and those sorts of things, you are not a private company. You are a publicly traded company on the United States Stock Exchange. since you are a publicly traded company on the United States Stock Exchange and you are seen as a virtual town hall, freedom of speech should be absolute. Absolute. You should be able to say anything you fucking want. Anything you fucking want. I'm sorry, but you should be able to say anything you want. Period. I mean, I understand where we would stop at maybe like people threatening violence. I get it. But reality exists that we should be able to say anything we want. We need the government to get the hell the fuck out of any business dealing with the Second Amendment. They have no constitutional authority to infringe upon what shall not be infringed at all, whatsoever. At all. They don't. Every gun regulation, every gun law is unconstitutional. The government should have no say. They should know nothing about you going to a store, buying a firearm, and bringing it back home. If you are a free person, if you are not in prison or a wanted fugitive, you should be able to get any weapon you want at any time and take it the fuck home for your protection or hunting or anything you fucking want. I should be able to buy a motherfucking tank if I want one. Many people, the armament of the day, the basically equivalent to a tank back when the Constitution was written, were cannons, and private citizens owned cannons. We should be able to own anything, and the government should have no fucking say in it at all. Frankly, it should be considered the duty of every United States citizen to own, practice, be proficient with, and be able to be safe with firearms. Everybody should have one. Every fucking body. It should be considered the duty of United States citizens to own firearms. Because if we all own firearms, we are an undefeatable nation. They would have to nuke the fuck out of us. That's it. That's all they got left. They will never take our homeland if everybody owns a weapon. Anybody. They cannot invade the homeland if everybody owns a fucking weapon. But we, the people, should Trump be able to beat the steal, we need to push very fucking hard to get all this shit fixed. We need to make sure it's codified that only United States citizens can vote in our federal election. This shouldn't be a fucking thing. This shouldn't even be an argument I have to fucking have. That's how next level crazy that shit is. You enter the country illegally, which first of all, if you enter the country illegally, you should never be allowed to stay and you should never be allowed to come back. You can't enter the country illegally and then all of a sudden be like, okay, I'm sorry, I left, I'm coming back, I'm going to apply for asylum that way. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You don't get to break the fucking law. Like, I'm not going to let somebody break in my house and wait to see if I like them enough and give them a pathway to roommate-ship. Like, there's no pathway to be my fucking roommate if you break into the fucking house and start taking my fucking food out of my goddamn fridge. Like, I would never do that. You would never do that. None of you would ever do that. None of you would ever let somebody break into your fucking home, start using your resources, and then be like, maybe I should give them some cash. Maybe I should give them some cash so they have like spending money. You know what? And maybe I should just think about like a pathway, an agreement to make it so they could just, become my roommate. Fuck that shit. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, stop it, people. Like, anybody's like, oh, well, they're fleeing. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. They came here illegally. They don't get to fucking stay. Them and their children can fucking go. The children, if they're born here, they can keep their citizenship, but they can only come back when they're 18. They got to go with the parents. The parents don't get to stay because they had a baby here. There's no anchor on that bullshit. They get to keep their citizenship, but they got to go with their parents, and their parents cannot fucking stay. And you know why I say that? Because that's what happens in every fucking place. That's what happens in every other country around the world. Shit, my wife was born in Italy. They wouldn't have just let her stay as a baby in Italy. Get there faster. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how ridiculous we've gotten about all this shit. If Trump wins, we the people need to hold them responsible for a lot of shit. We need to reduce the size of the federal government by at least half during his presidency. If we don't reduce it by at least half, removing most of the top level people, because most of the top level people are literally traitors. Literally traitors. We need to remove at least half of the bloat of the federal government. A bunch of organizations can be completely wiped out. The ATF is unconstitutional. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Why the fuck do you get to regulate what I drink, what I smoke, and my Second Amendment? You don't. That's why. Like, who the fuck are you to tell me that I can't? I'm not advising anybody drink alcohol or anybody smoke at all, because it is unhealthy for you 100% of the time. But you should be able to if you want to. You should absolutely be able to if you want to. And the government shouldn't be able to tell you can or can't. Fuck them. Who the fuck are they? The federal government should, like the state government, different. That maybe left to states. But the federal government has 3 fucking jobs. I say this all the time. 3 fucking jobs. Protect our border, provide common defense, and literally protect our rights against the states infringing upon them. Instead, we have a completely open border. They literally are the people that are trying to fucking censor us, remove our Second Amendment and remove our First Amendment, and we have no privacy from them, thanks to Patriot Act. And common defense, well, from their healthcare policies, we are so fucking fat, sick, and lazy that we literally cannot get enough people to go into our military. They weakened our military by kicking anybody out that wouldn't take an experimental gene therapy created by historically corrupt companies from a historically corrupt industry that had full liability protection with no long-term testing at all. Like, no testing over 6 fucking months. And people that refused to take it, they booted out of the military and made it weaker. That's insane to me. Not to mention the fact that they are leveraging the fuck out of us when it comes to borrowing money. We need to stop borrowing money. We absolutely need to. Our interest payment on our debt is $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion a year. Insane. Absolutely insane. The federal government should be terrified of us and have almost no say in our lives. They should have almost no say in our lives. If they interact with you, it should be because the state government you're in is trying to infringe upon your rights. That's how that shit's supposed to be set up. You realize that shit, right? You realize it. Like the FBI, don't need it at all. Don't need the FBI. Federal Bureau of Investigations. Doesn't every state have some sort of like law enforcement agency? Why do we need a federal law enforcement agency to literally now enforce laws on the people at a federal level? That's not their job. That is absolutely not their job. They don't get to decide that shit. FBI can go, CIA can go, the CDC can go, the FDA can go, the USDA can go, the ATF can go, NIH can definitely fucking go. All of it. Get rid of all this shit. All of it. Take all that money and actually try to fund true research to keep us healthy, to keep us happy. Let's take a look at what we can do about like clean, free energy. Like if we had like hydrogen running cars, which is like, if you think we couldn't do it, it's because nobody's trying. How about we try really hard to, figure out what Tesla did? Like anything like that, instead of having this bullshit. It is insane to me how we have gotten to this stage. Like, the government is so huge, so bloated, and they act like fucking royalty. Well, we don't have any money left for you. FEMA just has no money left, so $750. We've sent you. Biden actually says we've done everything we can. What, motherfucker? Are you fucking kidding me? At the same time, you're going to write a fucking check to Israel for $8 billion so they can go start more war? Fuck you. Fuck Israel. Fuck Ukraine. Fuck Russia. Fuck the federal government. Fuck the entire Congress. Fuck the President of the United States, Joe fucking Biden. And fuck Kamala Harris, too. Fuck all you motherfuckers. I'm out. I hope you all have a good goddamn day. I'm too overheated. I'm fucking out of here. I'm afraid I'm going to get fucking banned. Hope you all have a great day. Bye. So everybody listen up. If you're anything like how I used to be, where you're terrified of the holiday/gluttony season, because once you start eating the carbs and the sugars that are involved with the festivities, you can't seem to say no. And the next thing you know, 4 months later, you've gained 10, 15, 20 extra pounds that you then struggle to get half of it off or even any of it off over the course of the next 8 months before the next gluttony season. We created Alchemy just for you. We teamed up with the Ambrosia Collective and we created this glucose disposal supplement made up of 5 patented ingredients at clinically tested human doses, one of which is NC2. It is a seaweed extract, and it is absolutely amazing. In clinical trials, human clinical trials, it has been shown to help reverse prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. It helps raise HDL, lower LDL, lower triglycerides, lower your blood pressure. It has amazing effects on insulin sensitivity. So for those of you that have PCOS, this can give you an extra boost, and 1 in every 4 women has PCOS in our society today. So this will help you with your insulin sensitivity, not to mention that it helps take away the sugar demon. It just knocks it right off your shoulder. I get no sugar cravings when I take this twice a day, 2 capsules at a time. You should go to the Ambrosia Collective right now, use the code EveningRants, get 10% off, and get you some alchemy so you can be prepared for gluttony season and you don't gain that 10, 15, 20 extra pounds, because you'll be able to avoid the sugar demon all holiday season long.